There's a lot of Tesla news. There's a new FSD version rolling out, 12.5.1.3, and today is going to be a huge day for Elon Musk and probably Tesla as well, because Elon Musk will be interviewing the former president on X. There's definitely a huge opportunity here for Elon Musk to promote EVs and to dispel some of the common EV myths, and hopefully many of them get addressed, and this turns out to be a somewhat positive thing for EVs. Now, with this latest FSD version, will hardware-free owners also get the latest version now? Omar actually asked that here, and Elon responded with, team is working on it. This will be a different release number, so it's not coming out to hardware 3 cars with this release. So I don't think that it's imminent that hardware 3 cars are about to get V12.5 FSD. There's also a lot of drama and arguing between Tesla bulls about this news. Uber CEO says there's a potentially big problem with Elon Musk's Tesla robotaxi idea. He of course doubts Tesla's ability to implement robotaxis. He reasons that he's not sure that Tesla owners would be willing to let strangers ride in their cars. He suggests Elon Musk may underestimate the challenges of customer service in a ride-hailing business. And another thing I've seen thrown around is that, well, Tesla owners will want to use their own vehicles when everyone else wants to get a ride during peak hours. So how will that work? Well, Uber adjusts its workforce dynamically to meet peak demand, contrasting with Tesla's proposed static fleet model. And this right here is a massive contradiction, contrasting with Tesla's proposed static fleet model. Tesla is not going to require people that own Tesla vehicles to put their vehicles into the robotaxi network. Tesla will incentivize more during the peak hours for them to put their vehicles into the robotaxi network. Basically exactly the same thing what Uber is doing. The Uber CEO also said building a $50,000 piece of hardware is a very, very different business than driving over 30 million transactions every day. Ross Gerber really said Tesla should read this before they realize that selling great EVs with FSD as a safety feature is a way better business than robotaxi. I've also seen this thrown around. The number one hurdle to robotaxis is always, what happens if someone vomits in the vehicle? What happens if you go outside for a walk and you get struck by lightning during a sunny day? What would happen then? It happens extremely rarely, and only if you pick people from bars basically on a Friday or Saturday night. So when you go to these areas during these times, you know you're going into a thunderstorm, which is why it's easy to find people with over 2,000 rides that say that they never had a passenger vomit in their vehicle. It's because it's actually really rare. Gary Black agrees with the CEO of Uber, a Tesla ride-hailing network where the average ride lasts 20 minutes and may earn Tesla $2 per ride is very different than an Airbnb type platform where the average rental period lasts 4.3 days and may earn Airbnb $150. Also, peak demand for ride-hailing may coincide with Tesla owners who may want to use their cars at the same time. Finally, Airbnb rentals are investments that generally appreciate over time. EVs are consumables that depreciate, and they especially depreciate the more they are used. His point is Uber and Lyft have huge first mover advantages. Tesla can't just remove the driver from Uber and charge less once FSD gets to unsupervised. Oh, but Tesla can charge a lot less and remove the driver. By then, other ADAS platforms will also operate unsupervised, with LiDAR in limited areas, and these vehicles cost a lot more than pure vision-based cars built with Tesla's system. And if they don't operate on LiDAR, they will be licensing from Tesla. Vast majority of Uber and Lyft customers are satisfied and won't just switch to Tesla's rideshare platform. Oh, people in 2005 were super happy with their feature phones, their dumb phones, and why would they ever switch to a smartphone? I don't know. I would actually pay more to ride in a vehicle without a driver, because then I can do private calls. I don't need to worry about someone else being there. If I want to open my window, I can without annoying anyone, or if the Uber driver has his window opened. Let's say I'm feeling a bit chilly and I want the window closed. Now I have to ask, and it might be annoying to them. This may actually lower my rating as a rider, so you have to be a little bit careful. I would definitely pay a premium to ride in a robotaxi. Also, let's look at some of the math. So comparing one 20-minute ride with a 4.3 day stay, if a vehicle drives 10 hours a day and averages 2 rides an hour at $2 a ride, that's $172 in 4.3 days, assuming only $2 per ride, which seems quite low in the early days and absurd for the Tesla-owned fleet. Also, the ride market grows much larger than Airbnb's market as price falls. And here's where we get some drama between Tesla bulls. There's no universe where a technology that can drop the cost of operation by 50% or more and retain the same level of margin is a bad thing. The Uber CEO is simply saying what he has to say before his entire business model disappears and he gets fired from the business because the business is going to be non-existent for him. Gary Black fires back with, "You've been predicting the demise of Uber for years and it hasn't happened. Uber will be able to remove the driver from rides before Tesla can build a driverless ride-hailing platform." Okay, I can see that argument. If that argument turns out to be right, okay, that makes sense. But there's no way Uber is going to figure out how to scale driverless robotaxis before Tesla does. Uber doesn't have the data. Uber doesn't have the talent that Tesla has. Uber doesn't have millions of vehicles collecting data. It's a fight that Uber will lose. The only argument against this is that Tesla will not reach this. But Gary Black doubles down on his position. That's incorrect. I've said for years, others will develop and be approved for level 5 autonomous systems around the same time as Tesla. That prediction looks increasingly accurate given several automakers who have already been approved for autonomous deployment licenses. You seem to think Tesla is the only one who will be able to do this. The only one with a vision approach that actually scales easily, where you don't need to pay $200,000 just for one single vehicle with all of these systems in place that need to be used to run a robotaxi. Tesla will be able to spend $20,000, $25,000 and have a robotaxi ready to work 24/7 for a decade. So yeah, these vehicles are really expensive. Now, if that cost really goes down a lot, and if these vehicles can actually be deployed in the United States, then there would be a bit of competition for Tesla, maybe. Now, in China, Gary Black says that Baidu is building their Apollo Go autonomous vehicles for $30,000, and they are deployed in 6 Chinese cities already. Baidu plans to be in 65 Chinese cities by next year. In the US, the geofence level 4 and level 5 robotaxi operators like Waymo will be rolled out city by city until they are in every metro area, losing just as much money as they are right now. By the way, how do you build a robotaxi for $30,000 with LiDAR and geofencing the whole area? You do it by adding a driver to pretty much every car. So even if you see no driver in the vehicle, there is someone watching through this camera placed inside the vehicle, and they are all monitoring what's going on. But Baidu is not competition to Tesla because it's a Chinese company. And as long as Tesla can have the US market to itself, Tesla would still do incredibly, enormously well, because that's where people are actually willing to pay a lot of money for a robotaxi. In China, the prices are not as high, so also there's not as much money to be made, although the population is higher, so you can make up for it to some extent with volume, but it's just going to be much easier to start in the US. And here, the drama continues. Gary says, with all due respect, perhaps you haven't studied the Uber business model. Uber offers different levels of rides depending on the rider's budget. If you want a black car with a high-end driver, you pay double. If you want to share a ride with another rider, you save money, about 25% actually. And Gary makes a prediction here: autonomy is quickly becoming a cost of doing business in the auto industry. All auto companies will have to master autonomy, either build it or license it or perish. Meaning everyone is going to license from Tesla. Same as where they were in the EV space 10 years ago. Except this is quite different because software is a whole different business, at which these legacy automakers have proven to be incredibly bad, with Volkswagen spending billions and still not being able to make their software work properly. Like, even the CEO himself of Volkswagen tested his product in China, the software, and according to this magazine source, One participant described the CEO's verdict as a disaster, which is how FSD driving software made by legacy automakers will also be described. Now, in many ways, I think one of the meanest, passive-aggressive things that you can say is start with all due respect, because you know it's gonna be bad. So Farzad starts here with all due respect. What's most naive is that you think there's a company out there that can manufacture a self-driving vehicle for under $30,000 per unit and would be willing to allow these vehicles to operate outside of the proprietary self-driving network, especially when they have restated multiple times that this would not be allowed. Why? Because said company has their own app already and they manufacture the cars. Your entire assumption is built around another company outside of Tesla that can, number one, manufacture millions of self-driving cars per year. Number two, manufacture them at a fraction of current self-driving solutions that cost 10 times more per unit. And C, can scale across regions without the need of massive costs and time investment building out mapping. Your assumption works if there isn't a player out there that's fundamentally disrupting the cost per unit of manufacturing a self-driving car. Name me a company outside of Tesla that has a clear path to achieving this without massive costs involved in LiDAR, ultrasonics, HD maps, etc., while building millions of them per year. So the whole thing continues here, and it concludes with Farzad saying, I actually really like Gary, he's my bro, he's just wrong. Gary says, I get a lot wrong, but I've actually been riding on Uber for the past 3 years. Coming back to the Uber CEO, the absolute funniest thing to me personally is seeing the CEO of Uber use the same arguments bears use for their business at the beginning. Nobody's going to want to get in a stranger's car. Now nobody is going to want a stranger ride in their car by themselves. And then of course, if you do own a Tesla robotaxi, you will be able to limit who exactly is going to be able to use your robotaxi, people with high ratings or people that you already know. People think so inside the box. It's a computer that can move around the world on its own. And I've seen people say that the Uber app is so special. But the argument of how will Tesla figure out how to run a rideshare network falls flat on its face pretty quickly when you look at Waymo's mobile app. It is just as good as the Uber app, if not better for ride sharing, and it was trivial for me to switch over. So what will we do if people throw up? Just charge them a penalty fee and send it to a place where they clean cars. Or what will we do if people lose items? You just detect them and alert them, and you can charge them a fee to return the items. Not only is it not rocket science, and even if it was, Elon can figure it out, but Waymo has already demonstrated how all of this would work, and it does work. Except their costs are so high that they are actually losing money still. But if their costs were lower, they would be making money already. Bradford did a poll here. Would you rather, number one, be paid to own a car, but rent out the Tesla rideshare app, earning you $2,000 a month? This might be a bit more than how much eventually you will be able to make. It will probably be less than that eventually. But number two, pay to own your car and no dirty strangers in your car, costing you $500 to $1,000 a month. Some people, I think, and this will likely include me, will do both. If you have more than one car, maybe one car you never want to put on the robotaxi network because you want to keep it super clean, smelling super nice. You take it out to nice places. And the other car, maybe you don't mind it, you know, being on the road and coming back with a stain here and there once a year. But if in the beginning people can really make $2,000 a month in profit, there will be a lot of people rushing to do it. But over time, just like with everything, competition will come in, prices will become lower, profits will be lower, but then there's going to be a lot more choice for the consumer. In the meantime, Omar posted a 1 hour long drive here through San Francisco, completely hands-free with zero interventions. And this was all pretty much city driving. Even most Tesla bulls cannot comprehend how monumental it is to be able to consistently drive for hours with no interventions in San Francisco using just computer vision. It has never been demonstrated before. before, and this will only get better going forward. So the FSD discussion continues further here, and James continues to be skeptical. So Farzad asks him, what are the metrics you are using to gauge that Tesla has a level 4 or level 5 solution ready? James only relies on the FSD tracker. With submissions from strangers, we now have 6,300 miles of data. And relatively speaking, compared to before, we have very little data from California, so the numbers naturally will not look as good here as they would have before if we mostly had data from California and people like Omar submitting data where they just keep getting these nice rides. He also looks at all the YouTube videos and individual people's feedback. And Farzad thinks that once the tracker has 50,000 miles between critical interventions, we can start discussing imminent rollout in controlled markets. Yeah, at that point, no doubt Tesla would be working as fast as possible to release the software to the public. It would be safe by then, or safe enough. But it's currently at 255 miles per critical disengagement, and the bigger concern for James is there does not appear to be much progress at all over the past several months. Things should be accelerating now, but they are not. But I think Tesla made a lot of progress between 12.3.6 and 12.5. And Chuck Cook just released this video about the latest update. So let's take a look. This was pretty good, actually.
Okay, this is getting a little easy. Oh, wait, look, we got a car in front of us. There's our NHTSA stop. Now we got to give way. But you notice the car's not blue. They used to be blue when they were targets of concern or interest, right? But look at that. He's out there. He is a little bit darker. We got some good traffic from the left this time. Wow. Something. Oh, and the auto wipers ruined it. Yeah, this could have been the one. But then you gave me an auto wiper wipe. Okay, we got a very small gap here, but we got to let him go first. So if it even budges before he goes, it's a mistake. He's pre-rolling. Is he going to pre-roll? Let's see what happens. He could be doing a U-turn. He's not. And we verified, no pre-roll. We got a car from the right. It needs to wait. Oh, he's in the middle lane and it didn't even pause. I thought he was in the left lane. That's why I said that. Okay, that was a good one. We're going to finish on that one because we had a lot of dynamics. Auto wipers, you ruined it. The decisions that the unprotected left-hand turn made were great. I saw the fast approaching car. Had I given it another second, I might have noticed he wasn't in the immediate lane, but he was coming so fast, I thought the car was going to wait, but it didn't wait because he knew he was in the middle lane.
When will Tesla first get approval for unsupervised no driver needed FSD? GitHub is running a poll here, and the most popular choice is 2025. To me personally, it doesn't matter when exactly. What matters is that Tesla will be the first company who will be able to scale this technology quickly at a very low cost. So this is an example of the wrong question to ask. The real question is, who will be the first company that will scale quickly to the mass market? Another thing to keep in mind about FSD is, although the model for 12.5 is quite a bit larger in parameter count, it is still trained on hardware 3 images and sized to run on the AI 3 inference computer. Hardware 4 will run at a higher resolution and support a model up to 8 times larger, but we won't see the first hardware 4 specific models until the new Tesla Cortex training cluster is online at Giga Texas. So the first few initial releases trained on hardware 4 data, that's going to be pretty important to watch. And there are some good points made here. The FSD computer can be swapped by a Tesla service center. Many hardware 3 cars originally came with hardware 2.5, but have their computer upgraded. If the current computers are insufficient in some way, you can always swap them out. The reason why hardware 3 to hardware 4 upgrades are currently not offered is because it requires a higher voltage power supply, but also because it would be completely pointless in a way, at least until now it was, because even hardware 4 cars are still running hardware 3 models in emulation mode. So it'd be silly to waste all this time just for Tesla to run a hardware 3 model in emulation mode in these Teslas. And if you are going to upgrade, why not wait a little bit longer and then we can upgrade to hardware 5. So from hardware 3, maybe we can go directly to hardware 5, because currently no one can prove for a fact that FSD is not going to be safer than human driving on hardware 3, because simply, full self-driving has not been solved to that level yet, so I see no rush here. Now, worst comes to worst and hardware 3 just can't do the job, Tesla could develop a retrofit that would work as an upgrade for hardware 3 cars. Oh, and did you know this? The cameras all pop right off for easy replacement too if there's an issue with them. is an easy fix. There's more drama here. A US senator has written a letter to the Tesla board of directors urging them to investigate Elon Musk for conflicts of interest with his other companies. Now, we have seen this sort of before, so this is just a continuation of this. Elon Musk and this senator, I mean, Elon Musk told her not to call the manager. So these two have a long history, and she writes here to the Tesla board of directors that Elon Musk is not meeting his fiduciary duties because he has a conflict of interest. Mr. Musk has long juggled various enterprises in addition to Tesla. Yeah, that's no news. We are all aware of that, and that's fine. As he leads several private companies, including SpaceX, Neuralink, The Boring Company, and X Corporation. So she attacks Elon Musk for XAI and also even his compensation package. She accuses the Tesla board of neglecting its corporate governance duties. And here, to me, this is funny. Tesla shareholders have suffered from a lack of oversight at the company. Really? Long-term investors, I am sure, are gladly accepting this suffering because they look at their portfolios, and from the time they start investing in Tesla stock, it's up. It's way up. Tesla shareholders are responding to the senator. Alexander Murs put this together. It's a letter that thousands of Tesla shareholders have now signed. The letter kindly requests her to refrain from further interference in Tesla's affairs. Instead, we suggest focusing on creating an environment that fosters innovation and job creation, areas where Tesla and Elon Musk's other ventures have demonstrably excelled. And I'm not worried about XAI because Tesla will be investing money into XAI. As I'm recording, about 2,500 people already signed this letter. Tesla is seemingly having a great time in China. This delivery center, for example, was very busy, and the last time we saw reports like this, Tesla did better than normal, so that is good news. Based on Troy's estimate though, Tesla deliveries this year are expected to be lower than last year, mainly due to declining sales in Europe. After the first 2 quarters, sales in Europe are 22,000 units behind last year. And Q3 is also trading below last year's Q3 in Europe. And Elon Musk has been posting quite a bit about what's going on in the UK here. So James is saying this will be great for Tesla sales just when I became optimistic about the UK's turnaround. So people are arguing what Elon Musk is saying about what's happening in the UK, what kind of impact it's having. I don't think it's having a positive impact on Tesla, but I definitely don't expect Elon Musk to stay silent and say nothing. So I'm definitely not complaining. Also, Tesla has been granted a sales license in Kentucky after previously being banned from direct vehicle sales in the state, which means Tesla will soon be able to lease and service vehicles in the state. Also, Tesla is now facing a lawsuit from the family of a worker who passed away in Giga, Texas last week. The suit alleges that the worker, a contractor and licensed electrician, was electrocuted prior to entering cardiac arrest. The details about this are still murky, and more will come out probably this or next week. There's no response from Tesla, so we don't know the other side of the story, so I wouldn't rush to make any conclusions here. Maybe it is Tesla's fault, maybe it wasn't. Here's some good news here. The luxury tax for Cybertrucks in Canada has now been removed, so we Canadians will be able to buy Cybertrucks cheaper. Now, if you could get it removed for the SNX, that would be great too, but I doubt that will happen because their weight is under the limit. Also, Tesla stopped taking orders for the cheapest Cybertruck. It offers the $100,000 version now. I'm on the same page as Sawyer is. I do not recommend canceling your Cybertruck reservation if you want a non-Foundation series in the near to medium term. Then Tesla stops making Foundation series Cybertrucks, which is coming soon. The company will likely go back to the reservation list first for the less expensive versions. That's it for today's video. I will be live streaming the former president interview with Elon Musk, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. By joining Patreon, you will have access to all of my exclusive videos on Patreon, as well as how much I am willing to pay for each Tesla share between 2024 and 2033. If you join the investor tier, you will also have access to my valuation model, where you will see all of my assumptions, including deliveries, the energy business, Tesla's future businesses like FSD, and of course much more. And then if you want to easily download that and put in your own numbers, then this third tier is for you. To all of my Patreon supporters, thank you so much. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't yet as well. It's really important to like the videos because that makes it less likely that the channel will be shadow banned later, like my other big channel got shadow banned before from about 50% of my regular viewers. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.